Hey guys, Erin Scott here, founder of Team Rockstars, as well as president of my fitness company, Silly Fit Incorporated. And I wanted to share today just a little bit about the kinds of coaches that I come across in my virtual coaching business with Team Beachbody. So, as a Team Beachbody coach, what are the types of coaches that we have out there? And I have to say, I've sort of been in each role at one point in my journey with Team Beachbody. So I can say with certainty that all our options as far as becoming that style of coach or not, and all are so doable and all are great. So I think that it's important to know just, wherever you are in your journey, whatever your goals are, whatever it is you want to get out of being a coach with Team Beachbody, it's all good. And it's good to kind of know on the front end, like what those options are. So just a little bit about my story. I became a coach because I was on my own fitness journey and I was started to see results with my own, experience with a home workout program called Turbo Jam, which is a Beachbody program, and drinking my Shakeology. And I was definitely like so not at my goal, but it was my gateway into like really getting my confidence back. Eventually I managed to lose 50 pounds, go off of my antidepressant medication. I was able to really start to use fitness as an opportunity to make a life change and a career change. But that was not overnight, and it definitely went through some phases. I definitely had a true metamorphosis, so to speak. Let me tell you a little bit about those three types of coaches that typically I get the honor and joy to work with, and I've actually been in those roles myself. So the first, of course, is really the type of coach that I was for a good 6 months or so when I first became a coach with Team Beachbody. And that's the coach who really just wants the discount for their products, particularly with our nutritionals, because we're taking them every day, we're consuming them, so we'd love to get them at a good value. And it's a great accountability for our own fitness and wellness. I had seen such great results already with Turbo Jam, and then I incorporated Shakeology into that whole mix that I really wanted to have the best value. Plus, being a coach allowed me to be a little bit more accountable to those who were supporting me. They saw that I was a coach. They saw that I was taking some responsibility for my journey. And even though I wasn't quite there yet, it was my first step. And it was kind of that commitment, that serious commitment to myself. So as a, coach who really would like to have that extra accountability for their own fitness and wellness, as well as the opportunity to receive their own personal use products, particularly the nutritionals like Shakeology or the performance line, you're going to get that at a discount. So I was like, sweet, that's totally going to help me out. And it did, absolutely. And what I quickly realized is I wanted to also be someone who was a good example to my peers because I had started to see such good positive changes in my life. So that's when I kind of allowed people to see what I was doing and enter into that as they saw it fitting into their lives. So what I would like to call more like an organic coach, or someone who just is, proof that what Beachbody has to offer is legit and the real deal. And as people need your help, they come to you and you help them. And as a coach, we do earn commissions on everyone that we help, get connected with a program or Shakeology. So it just made sense that if I am on my own journey and people are seeing the changes in me and they want my help, as a coach, I can just help them as it comes up. So I'm not being super intentional with who I'm helping, but I'm extending my help to people who ask me about it. And so I kind of consider that like the organic coach, like do what I'm doing, right? I was a neuroscientist in Boston for many, many years while this was going on. And so People in the lab saw what I was up to. People, that in my social circle saw that I was losing weight and that I was just a happier person in general. And I was much more conscious of the things that I was putting in my body, going out and partying less and that kind of thing. And so those people kind of had, a moment where they were, identifying with maybe something that they needed. And so now they knew they could come to me. And, I didn't necessarily approach them about it, but when the need surfaced, I went and, offered up my help at that point. So that's what I would call kind of like the organic coach. That kind of is just proof, you're doing what you're doing in your life. You're proof that, with accountability and, products that work, like our home workout programs and our nutritionals, that, you can be of service to someone who approaches you about it. And so that's kind of, where I was for a really, really long time. I wasn't as focused and intentional with my business as I would have liked, but I was definitely earning an income. And then lastly is really putting my all into it, like the what I like to call the 100% coach. And the 100% coach doesn't necessarily mean 100% of your time and life is devoted to it, but you're 100% all in. That you're not an organic coach and you're not a sort of discount accountability coach, but rather someone that wants to help as many people as possible within the means of their goals, right? And they're going to take all the steps necessary and conduct all the vital behaviors necessary in order to really have an impact and serve people in that capacity. It takes a little bit more intentionality. It takes organization and it takes focus, but it doesn't necessarily have to take up all of your time. 100% coach doesn't necessarily mean that it's the only thing you do. Can it be? Absolutely, because that's where I am now in my coaching business, but it doesn't necessarily. You can still be a 100% coach while you have your full-time job. Or you can even consider what that would mean if you were to be all in the time you did devote to Beachbody and allow that to start to compound and eventually possibly replace the income that you have with your other job or your full-time job. It's happened. I've seen it happen in many lives. It doesn't necessarily mean that that's the path you have to take, but just know that what time you put 100% into, you're going to see the results come back from that. You're going to see the fruits of all the effort that you put in. So you're putting more effort in. And I'm not saying that you necessarily have to put a ton of effort in, right? But think about what it might mean for your life if you did put some consistent, concentrated effort in every day, finding that time every day to reach out and help people and serve people and be intentional with your service. And we do that in a few different ways. And I hope to explain that, of course, in another video. But just know that, all three are amazing. All three are great. All three are the types of coaches that I want to work with. I was one of each of those at some point, right? So I was that, accountability discount coach for a really long time. And then I was that organic coach, and I was working on my confidence. I was working on my own journey. I'm still never quite feeling like I'm at my goal, right? And so you don't feel like if you want to go out and serve others or be the example for other people that you have to be this perfect physique or have your whole life put together. In fact, I think those types of coaches, they are at a little bit of a disadvantage because they're not as relatable to those of us who still have some work to do. And it's easier for us to invite people into what we're doing because we can do it together. And I always kind of, I'm looking for one way that I can better myself, whether it's mentally, physically, spiritually, or emotionally. So I think Beachbody allows me that opportunity to constantly better myself, however it may look. So just know that, being part of that accountability is huge. Being an organic coach and setting the example for people, and they see what you're doing and then they approach you, and naturally your ability to help them just kind of comes about. And then of course we've got our 100%ers, people that are all in and they really treat this, as something that could eventually provide them with, unlimited potential for their business and for the people that they serve. So if you have questions about any of these three types of coaches, or you can see yourself identifying with any of those three, I would love to hear more about what interests you about one of those three coaches, or whether you think you could be one of those three coaches. So please feel free to share. I would love to hear from you. And just know, like I said, all of the three styles of coaches or three types of coaches are great, and we can work together. And in fact, we have tools and resources that can best serve all three of you guys. And so thank you for listening. And I hope you could identify with my story in some way. And I'd love to share with you, just hear from you, have you share your perspective on this and your sort of contribution to the story. So let's team up. Let's learn more about one another and how we might be able to work together as a team.